Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We are so grateful that you have joined us for this historic milestone in disability forward housing. Obviously, I'm already crying and I haven't even started yet. Today's groundbreaking of the Kelsey Civic Center. Can I get another round of applause? My name is Allie Cannington, and I use they and she pronouns, and I'm really proud to lead our policy work at the Kelsey. Before we continue with today's program, I'd like to share with you that at the beginning of the development process for the Kelsey Civic Center, we reached out to the Association of Ramaytush Ohlone, who joined us in blessing the land before we move forward in construction. We got to work with them to develop a land acknowledgement, which I will share with you today. We recognize that the Kelsey Civic Center is on the tribal homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, who are the original peoples of the San Francisco Peninsula. We honor the Ramaytush Ohlone for their nonstop commitment and care for this land. As guests, we declare their rights as First People and pay our respects to the ancestors and relatives of the Ramaytush Ohlone community. We will do this by having an active relationship with them and with the land. As a housing community that's rooted in affordability, accessibility, inclusion, and sustainability, we learn from and respect Indigenous leadership and knowledge of the land in how we care for the land, each other, and the neighborhood. Now I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Isaac Haney-Owens, to take us further today.
Okay, let's see. Let's put the little right there. This is good. So my name is Isaac Haney-Owens, and I'm the communications analyst at the Kelsey, and I'm a San Francisco resident, and the MC for today's programming. Thank you to everyone who made this project possible. I'm excited for this project to become a reality, because it gives people who need it access to affordable, accessible, and inclusive housing. Projects like the Kelsey Civic Center are so important to the city of San Francisco, the state of California, and the United States. Thank you for joining us and celebrating with us. I'd like to welcome our first speaker, the mayor of San Francisco, London Breed. Yes.
Oh, goodness, I'm the first speaker, the pressure. Thought I had a little bit more time here. First of all, it really is great to be here. And it took me a long time to get here from across the street. But this area where it had a really old Arts Commission building, some of you might have remembered that, and the property around here, I always thought, what if we did something different? And the visionary leadership that came as a result of what we see happening here today is something that is not only remarkable, but a real blessing to a community that is not always made the priority when housing, and in particular, affordable housing, is built. So I want to just express my appreciation specifically to the person who this property is named for, Kelsey O'Connor, who we all know, and for those of you who know her personally, knew of her as a disability rights advocate, someone who fought for opportunities in places like San Francisco to ensure that the investments that we were making, that the work we were doing translated into actual results to help serve the community that needed it so much. And so 112 units, 2-bedroom, studio units, community room, programming, and an opportunity for people to live in dignity. And I want to really acknowledge and thank so many of the folks who helped to make this possible. I have a team of people who work for the city that may not always get recognized, but they're the behind the scenes people doing the work to put the money together, to make sure the projects move forward, to do all that it takes to obtain state resources and other things. And I want to start with the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development, Eric Shaw. Thank you for being here. Mayor's Office of Disability, Nicole Bond, thank you so much for your work and advocacy. And the Mayor's Office of Homelessness and Supportive Services, Shireen McSpadden is here. And the person who's in charge of our work around IHSS, our in-home support services work, and other things that provide services to this community, Kelly Dearman, I think I saw her here earlier. And as you know, these are people who have worked in this community to deliver for this community in various capacities. But this project is something special. It's something special because it means that there are people who will have a safe, affordable place to call home. Yes, the city provided resources, but I gotta say, our governor and the amazing, I'm so happy that Gustavo is here. I know he's gonna be speaking soon, but he works with the governor's office. And here's the thing, the governor loves San Francisco, but unless there is someone in a position that's responsible for the resources that love San Francisco too, I don't know if San Francisco would be getting as much money as we've been able to get from the state as we've gotten because of people like Gustavo and his leadership at the state, both projects like this, where this will be about $57 million to support this particular project, as well as other affordable housing projects in the Bayview, Hunters Point, and other places. Project Home Key has been incredible in helping us purchase buildings to house people who are formerly homeless. People are always trying to put San Francisco down and talk about what we're not doing and what's happening to San Francisco. But this story today paints a completely different picture. It talks about what's great about San Francisco. It talks about how we look at where there is a need with almost 200,000 people in San Francisco who are a part of our senior and disabled community, that we are finally starting through the Dignity Fund and other resources, investing in housing program and opportunities to ensure that we don't just say we want people to live in dignity, we actually make it possible for them to do so. So I'm really excited about this project, working with our various partners to make it happen. JP Morgan Chase, thank you for stepping up. The Kelsey and Mercy developer. So I'm looking forward to more partnerships like this. And again, Gustavo, thank you so much. And the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development. It takes a village to make a project like this happen, and this village is strong, but they also have a love for this work, and they know it's going to impact the lives of so many people. So thank you all for those who are joining us here today.
So it's right down there. Yes. So let's see. Thank you, Mayor Breed. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Gustavo Velasquez, the Director of California Department of Housing and Community Development. Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. Thank you, Ali, Isaac. It's great to be here with all of you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. She was talking about a picture, how important significant this picture is. Well, thought about a great picture. And if you turn to your left, you will see that big piece of equipment that what it does is it digs, but it digs in order to set the foundation for what 122 new homes will be in the city of San Francisco. But then look to the right of that and to the farther end. That is beautiful building, symbolizes decision making at the highest level of the city. And I just want to say, the fact that you see this contrast is very, very symbolic, because this is a fact. The last 3 years, if you don't account for 2023, between 2019 and 2022, the city of San Francisco has permitted for new construction, just like permitted 122 new homes here, more than 13,000 new units of housing. That's how much housing the city of San Francisco has permitted. And I say that because the mayor said something right, which is, a lot of complaints, a lot of, they just like to see the glass half full. Of those 13,000, more than 13,000, about 3,200 have been set aside for low and very low income people and families. And this is another example of, the city really stepping up and providing the leadership. It is the mayor. I mean, we have to make sure that we have the entire city leadership behind these types of things. And as you know, there's been a lot of concern about the delay, the time it takes for these new homes to be permitted, to be entitled, to be approved, to be permitted, and to be built. But there is progress being made. The mayor has put forth really, really critical, pivotal proposals to accelerate that. The state of California is reviewing policies and practices for the city, but progress is being made. And under the mayor's leadership, with her proposals, we believe in the state that a lot more progress, way, way beyond, above and beyond the 13,000 new homes, will happen in the city of San Francisco. And the Kelsey, this partnership is just so unique, right? It represents a vision, housing project in the own Civic Center will be a model for how housing can be built to achieve 3 goals: affordability, accessibility, and inclusivity. A few years back, I was working in DC at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and I had the honor to serve President Obama to lead the fair housing agenda for that administration. And not everybody knows this, but discrimination in housing, segregation in the housing market, is much more prevalent against persons with disabilities than any other group in this country. Any other group in this country. We were very successful to, sorry to use this word, but go after the city of Los Angeles back in the days and partner with the Department of Justice to achieve a consent decree that would make the city retrofit more than 3,000 units of housing that had been built in violation of accessibility requirements. And what we have here is, because of that piece of equipment, is starting from the ground and doing the right thing from point one, from the very start. That's what we have to do. And I hear, I'm aware of federal law in terms of the 10% limit for mobility, challenges, 5% for visual impairments. No. This isn't like that here. This is about achieving much more over what the floor is. Yes. And that's what we should see in every project where we are building new housing. So I remember sitting back in the days with the city leadership in LA, and they would just beg. They would say, this is going to kill our budget. These retrofits are going to cost the city hundreds of millions of dollars. And I said, why don't you just see it a little bit different? We are here reversing injustice. And if you just see it that way, doesn't matter how much money you spend, people with disability deserve a dignified place to live. And that work continues in LA. But here in the city of San Francisco, we're seeing with the Kelsey an example of, again, going way, way over what the floor is. And that is something to be commendable from the city leadership, Kelsey, Mercy, every single partner that is here present. And our contribution is important. It's about $66 million, 2 programs. The Cap and Trade program that is all about creating housing that meets our state climate goals. And that program is very important. We talk about climate goals, but what it is really the proximity that the future residents of the Kelsey Civic Center will have to everything that they need. If they want to get married, they just cross the street and they get married across the street. No, I mean, just all of the services and things that they will need going forward will be here. That's what the AHSC, Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Program, is all about. And then $37 million in addition to the Cap and Trade program for something called the California Housing Accelerator, that it was an invention of the governor himself that said we have so much housing that is shovel ready, but because Congress has not been able to increase for California and for every other state the availability of tax-exempt bonds and tax credits, we need to step up and provide nearly $2 billion to move almost 70 projects across the state that are shovel ready into construction. And Kelsey is one of them. So, yes. So with that, I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here representing the governor, celebrating with all of this amazing partnership, this accomplishment, and I look forward to return to welcome the residents, which will be even a better day than today. And I'll be here with the mayor too. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Vasquez. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mercy Housing's Director of Real Estate Development, Remy Dare.
Hi, everyone. Oh, my gosh. Look at the crowd. Well, thank you so much for being here. My name is Ramy, and I'm with Mercy Housing, and I am so honored to be representing the partner, one half of the partnership, the Kelsey Civic Center Development. As many of you know, because you're here, you're fans of the Kelsey, you probably know that the Kelsey as an organization, the staff, the board, and all of the supporters and allies, you all have an incredible vision, and that Mercy Housing, we're just really honored that you picked us to help you execute on your vision. And I think one of the stories that, I think every development has a story, and one of the stories that pops out to me for this one is how that vision turned into like an aggressive action plan. Basically, we got to this point here with this big drill here in 4 years. From the time that the city said, hey, we've got this site and this opportunity to create innovative, climate-resistant housing, and to get to here after applying for the funding, working with the city through the entitlements process and expediting that, the partnership with all of the agencies that helped to make sure that this piece of land, with all its complications, was taken care of and we were allowed to get permitted to reach today is incredible. So I just want to applaud everyone who worked on that. You all had a hand in it. Many of the city folks, the designers, and of course the development team. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of those folks. It's quite a list, and I know that I'm not going to get everybody, but I do want to call out the amazing partners at the Kelsey, Michaela, Caroline, Ariana, Allie, Isaac, and I know I'm going to miss some folks. Kudos to you for pushing us and for picking this site here across from City Hall. Great PR opportunity. Mercy Housing team. So there's on the development side, we also have folks who are part of the property management and resident services team that have been working with the Kelsey staff and will continue to do so to really figure out how do we make sure that this truly is an inclusive community for people when they live here. So I want to give kudos to Fiona, Riley, Emma, Sharon, Barbara, Elizabeth, Samantha, Jackie, John, Yelena, Lily, Monica, and Roslyn for all your work. Chris Rivera, who is our consultant and helps us make sure that we're getting the best housing quality in all of the design and engineering and permitting. Cahill Contractors and the amazing team there, Arash and Mark and the pre-con and demo teams. Of course, the design team, and I know I'm not going to get everybody. I think I saw Sherwood here, but we've got Santos Prescott, so Bruce and Jenny, and in partnership with WRNS Studios, your amazing, beautiful design. We're going to get to see that pretty soon. Shout out to Creativity Explored, who is providing the art, and I think I heard the artist is here, J.D. Green. So there's this artwork here is by them, and you'll be part of the building as well. And then the complex land acquisition and land swap was a team from the city's real estate department. So Sandy Levine and Andrew Andrico Pennick, the Department of Environment, Eden Bruckman, the McBain family that owned part of the site and did a land swap with us, BSM that helped us with the mapping and the subdivision. So thanks to that team for pulling that off. And then, of course, we have the Mayor's Office of Housing and the amazing team there led by Director Shaw. So the folks who worked on all of the funding support that we got, Ann Romero, Ophelia, Mara, Sarah, Heidi, William, Lydia, and then Judson True, I don't know if Jensen's here, for all your help on our permitting. And the planning department was really instrumental in making sure that we could move as quickly as we could, possibly could, to make sure that we got to that ASIC deadline that Gustavo was talking about. I think we got the SB 35 approvals in like 90 days or something incredible like that. So thank you to Carly Grobe and Kate Connor for your help on that. And SB 35 and its successor, we need to make sure that that stays in place. And thanks to Govin Barchet, the amazing team of Evan Gross and Linda Hicks, our attorneys, and our financial consultant, Munsheng Zhou, who helped us make sure that we could juggle all of the various sources. So JP Morgan Chase, as Mayor Breed mentioned, is providing the construction and permanent financing, the Mayor's Office Housing, the State of California HCD, the Kelsey also contributing financing, Housing Trust Silicon Valley, hopefully they're here, thank you. We also have vouchers from 811 vouchers from HUD, and the Golden Gate Regional Center also contributed to the capital development, so thank you, and the Weinberg Foundation. So we had a lot of stakeholders involved in putting all this together, and I want to have all of us take a moment to express our gratitude for all of you. And I know those of you I did not mention, gratitude to you as well for all of your work and for helping make sure that this vision comes to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Dare. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Elizabeth Grigsby. She is a board member for the Kelsey.
Do you want me to hold the mic, or you want to hold? Do you want me to hold? What?
Hi everyone. I want to thank you first and foremost to being here on a sunny day, thank God. I'm Elizabeth Grigsby. I'm on the board of the Kelsey. When I first met Michaela, she came to my workplace because I work at Golden Gate Regional Center. I'm the rights advocate. And Eric, my boss, had told her, you have to meet Elizabeth Grigsby. You guys will get along. So I just happened to go down the hallway, and they were coming out of his office, and we kind of bumped into each other, and she was, we started talking, and then me and Michaela went out for a couple of drinks later on that week, and she was telling me about her cousin Kelsey and the vision that she had, and I was like, count me in. I need to be a part of this vision. Do you know why? Yes, I have a disability. I have cerebral palsy, and I'm from this lovely city of ours, San Francisco, California, born and raised. Now, it's always been that people with disabilities need to be taken care of. They need to be safe. They need someone to look out for them. But nobody ever thought to say, these people need to have a life. They need to work. They need to have housing in their communities. Where I'm here to tell you, yes, we need to have our own life. And we need to be able to be independent and thrive and work and have loved ones that we're passionate. And that's one thing I can assure you, Kelsey will bring that to the table. When this building goes up, it's gonna change so many lives for people, for the better. A lot of people will say, but you're gonna move the homeless in there. Why not? Why not? We all need to be inclusive and together. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's give another round of applause for the Kelsey Civic Center.
It's a music project in the city. So what's the name? Okay, so.
There we go.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Eric Ziegman and Alex Madrid. Eric is the executive director of the Golden Gate Regional Center, also known as GGRC, and Alex is a housing specialist at Golden Gate Regional Center.
Woo!
Thank you, Isaac. Isaac used to be my boss when he was on the board of Golden Gate Regional Center. Alex used to be my boss when he was on the board of Golden Gate Regional Center. So I'm here with a lot of bosses. It's always hard to follow Elizabeth. It's like following the Academy Award of Inspirational Speaking. Thank you, Liz. Before I start, I did want to do one shout out to another state person besides Gustavo, who's here. Tiffany Andrade is here from the Department of Developmental Services. She's an assistant director in the Office of Community Development, and they allowed Golden Gate Regional Center to put in money to the Kelsey and to fund this incredible project. So, thank you. And she's really one of the unsung heroes of housing. You know, Ramey was saying there's so many unsung heroes along the way, and Tiffany worked in the closure of institutions, and hundreds, probably thousands of people are living in the community and outside of institutions and to a large degree because of Tiffany's work at the department. So I wanted to shout her out. I'm going to talk about vision, visibility, and values incredibly briefly so that Allie doesn't have to push me. So our vision at Golden Gate is to support lives of liberty and opportunity. We are a regional center. There's 21 of them in the state. We do case management and resource development mostly, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But we serve 10,000 people in our regional center in San Mateo, San Francisco, and Marin counties. And the regional centers were started 60 years ago. Golden Gate was one of the first two. We were a pilot project. So when Michaela came to me and said she was determined to have a replicable, scalable model of housing that'll push everything forward for the state and the country, I was thinking, well, we were a pilot project. I think we should support her. And there's been a remarkable ride to watch this happen. So our vision is to support lives of liberty and opportunity. I think the Kelsey and Golden Gate have a shared value around encouraging the people we serve to be leaders and experts on their own lives and to be involved in every aspect. And so I think we connect around that. But the visibility thing is really the most important to me in a sense that we have an entitlement in California that people with developmental disabilities are use that called the Lanterman Developmental Disabilities Act. It's unique in the nation. But even 60 years after its founding, there is a certain invisibility of all people with disabilities and people with developmental disabilities. It's much better than it used to be. But somehow the regional center has fallen over those years into being sort of a separate entity. And to be able to sort of not mirror that invisibility as a structure, we need to have partners. We need to reach across. We know we need to do a better job. We have 4 strategic plan goals at Golden Gate, and 2 of them are here today. One is to have more community engagement and education, and another is community living. Because of the 10,000 people we serve, many, many thousands want to live in a place, or living in a place, maybe living with their folks, or where they don't ultimately want to be. So the creation of the units here that'll be for people with disabilities and people with developmental disabilities is like gold, and the visibility of being between, as Gustavo said, that dome and Davies Symphony Hall, you couldn't be more in the center of town. The history of our system is a lot of outskirts of town services, and this is right in the center of San Francisco. So really appreciate being asked to be here today, and so gratified to see the groundbreaking. And now I'm going to let Alex talk.
Hi, my name is Alex Madrid. I'm the new housing specialist at Golden Gate. I just want to echo what a lot of people saying today, that this is a new start forward on housing opportunity for all disability and ability, and I just want to give kudos to us to work together, and I hope this is a new start of partnership, and I hope that the city and across the nation that can see that this model can work for people with disability and all abilities. So thank you, and yes.
Thank you guys so much. It's all you, Isaac.
So now what? So, thank you. Thank you both. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker.
Nina Marinkovic.
Nina Marinkovich, the Vice President of Credit Risk for the Community Development at JP Morgan Chase and Company.
Thank you, Isaac. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's such a thrill to be here on behalf of Chase today to celebrate the groundbreaking of this incredible project. Full disclosure, I did not underwrite this financing. I had nothing to do with closing the financing. And when James Vasugi, my colleague, asked me to come here in his place because he had a conflict, and anyone that knows James knows that he really couldn't change that conflict because he loves groundbreakings and grand openings. Well, my first thought was, James, I'm an underwriter, I don't give speeches. But then my second thought was, yes, of course, because it's really impossible not to feel connected to this project. And I feel connected because I've lived in San Francisco and worked in San Francisco now for more than a couple decades. My husband and I are raising our daughter here with the San Francisco Unified School District. I go to the parks and the open space on the weekend to recharge. I'm a big fan of San Francisco and just beyond proud of the city's efforts to create more affordable housing and more sustainable, inclusive communities like the Kelsey Civic Center. I mean, housing is the foundation of all of our lives, and affordable housing, what makes it possible for everyone, no matter how much money you have or what your abilities are, to be here where we belong. So I really appreciate that. I also couldn't pass up on the opportunity to come and celebrate and support Mercy Housing, a longtime Chase partner. And I particularly wanted to shout out Fiona Ruddy, the project manager. I hear that she managed the heck out of this project to get it into construction. And yeah, the project managers are unsung heroes. I also wanted to thank the Kelsey, for your incredible vision and determination and the love and resources that you've put into this to get it to where it is today. It's amazing. And partnerships are such a real and essential part of this work. And the partnership between Mercy and the Kelsey is just such a great example of how important it is to share knowledge and to leverage expertise, because the result is, amazing projects like this, in this incredible central location in San Francisco, next to City Hall and surrounded by all our wonderful civic institutions. So it's really a quite impressive achievement. We also want to thank all of our partners, particularly the state housing Department of Housing Community Development and the Department of Development Services, Housing Trust Silicon Valley, Golden Gate Regional Center. None of this would be possible without all these folks working together and making this happen. So I think that's all I have. Personally, just thank you to everybody who actually was in the trenches day to day, getting to where we are today. And then you can be sure Chase will be back for the ground opening, and we'll be very excited. So thank you very much.
Now you get to introduce Michaela.
Yes. Thank you, Nina. Finally, I'd like to introduce Michaela Connery, Kelsey, the Kelsey's CEO, and the Kelsey's co-founder and CEO, to close out the show.
And Isaac, we can come over here.
The award of the tallest speaker. Hi, my name is Michaela Connery. I get to work with Isaac and Allie and the rest of the Kelsey team, who I'll talk about in a second, on this remarkable project. And I just want to thank you all for being here today and being a part of our community. You hear me say this at every Kelsey event, but once you come to any Kelsey program or show up to an advocacy day or join for a fundraiser or sit in on a community advisory group meeting, you are fully a member of our community and you're kind of stuck with us forever. So we welcome you, and we look forward to a long time together as we build inclusive, affordable housing together. I want to start and just say about 6 years ago, I was a grad student, and right in that building over there, as we keep beautifully referring to, I sat down with two women, Mara Blitzer and Ann Romero, in the office of the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development. And I was a grad student, I was studying housing and disability, and I was connected to them as just an interview and just to ask them about what it meant to create affordable housing in cities and how we could make that affordable housing more inclusive and affordable and accessible to people with all types of disabilities. And we just visioned and talked about it, and I got their insights, and I was overwhelmed by all the different pieces that it takes to build housing, especially to build housing in this community, and I went on my way. And it is remarkable to be 6 years later looking just in that space and seeing that vision that we noodled on that day come to life, and to look around this space and see so many people who have touched this project and who have contributed to this vision and who have made this reality. When we talk about housing for people with disabilities, we often talk about the need for independent housing. And one of the first things I learned as I got more engaged in the disability rights and disability justice movement is that independence is kind of a joke, and that actually our goal and the reality of how we create communities is all about interdependence. None of us truly live independent lives, and none of us actually really desire to live independent lives. All of us desire that interdependence, that autonomy to believe that we are capable and we have value and dignity in our communities, and that understanding that we have others surrounding us who contribute to that, and others supporting us, and others there when we need them in the happy moments and the sad moments. And so what better example of interdependence than what it took to create this project? And Rami did a beautiful job listing all the folks who contributed and were a part of this. I'm going to rattle off a few here quickly. Our amazing team at the Kelsey, fearlessly led by Caroline Bosch, who actually shepherded this project in every single stage of it, who is the ultimate problem solver. The reason we got that SB 35 as quick as we did was because Caroline did it. It is remarkable what she's done, and the rest of our team, Allie and Isaac and Fatima and Tom and Annie and Kyle, and who else do we have here today with us? I'm forgetting somebody. I think I got the crew here, and our team members who aren't here today but who are across the country doing their work for inclusive, accessible housing. I also want to thank the Mercy team. This would not have happened without Mercy. I sat in Doug's office about 4 years ago, and after WRNS, who I'll speak about in a second, had come to this site, and I said, Doug, I think we can do this together with Mercy, and he said, we've not done anything like this before, but that's what Mercy does. Mercy figures out projects and actually does it in partnership with new organizations who are entering the affordable housing space. And so we couldn't have found a better mission-oriented partner to carry this project through with us and make it a reality. And she's been shouted out already, but Fiona Ruddy is like a dream to have leading this project. And sometimes I pretend she works at the Kelsey. I know we're not going to take her, Mercy, but she's been such a remarkable steward of this and would not be possible without her. Cahill, WRNS, Santos Prescott, Micotin Architecture, Creativity Explored, and in particular, can you stand up for me, JD? Can I bug you? JD Green right here is our remarkable artist. JD has created the art that you see on the wrapping of the construction site. And most excitingly is that wrapping is not temporary. That will be permanent in metal on the Grove Street entrance of our community. Will be JD's art forever as part of the Kelsey Civic Center. So we're so grateful for your vision and the art that you've created. Where JD's art will stand is at the entrance to what is the future Disability Community Cultural Center. And in addition to providing affordable, accessible, and inclusive homes, 112 of them here in San Francisco, this community will also be home to this DCCC, a vision that was started by disabled advocates, convened by the Longmore Institute and the Department of Aging and Adult Services several years ago, that this vision for a Disability Community Cultural Center that celebrates disability community and connects people without disabilities and anchors on a disability identity and a culture that is really valuable, not something to be fixed, but something to be celebrated and included and brought forward. And so we were so proud when we were able to have this site be the place where that cultural center would be built. And there's an RFP out now for who's going to operate that. So check our website, and we'd love to be even more involved in partnership around that. I also wanted to thank Perkins Coie, who did pro bono legal work for this, and then all of the funders who contributed to this project. It is a long list, as you saw up here. And I just want to call out the Kelsey as an organization. One of our approaches is to raise philanthropy to leverage into these projects that we put as both early risk capital to get these projects up and going and moving before the public funding comes in, and also as permanent capital in the project that really anchors on our pieces of access and inclusion, including our resident service program and other things, our inclusion concierge, and that philanthropic dollars, the $5 million that came into this project that came from individual donors, several of who are here today, and we are immensely grateful for, as well as from the Weinberg Foundation. That funding made this project possible and also made it that the accessibility and disability forward features of this community were not an afterthought of a nice to have, but a reminder that those are anchoring the community and what this truly can be together. So I am just immensely grateful and immensely excited for where we will be 2 years from now, which is what this is all about when our residents with and without disabilities move in. And I just want to say that two of Kelsey's, as you've heard Kelsey mention today, Kelsey was my cousin. She is our co-founder. You can see her picture around. She would be blown away by these communities created in her name. Kelsey used modified sign, and she had two favorite signs. So the first one is thank you, and thank you all for being a part of this with us and being a part of our community and making this project possible. And I want to pause quickly, I forgot to do this. If you were a part, if you ever, whether you were a Kelsey board member, a staff member, a Mercy team member, you were on any planning calls, you're a designer, if you were on any single call organizing or a part of making this community possible, a CAG meeting, a community advisory group meeting, can you just raise your hand or make yourself known in another way? I just look around. This is, it takes a village, as the mayor said earlier, and it's really remarkable, all of the people that contributed the little parts of it. So thank you to all for being here today, but especially thank you to all of the folks who contributed to bring this to light. And then, as Isaac said at the beginning, Kelsey's other favorite sign was more, and she did that a lot. She did it by loudly clapping her hands, and I think what we want to see today is how do we lead this into more? How do we take what we've done here in San Francisco, a city that leads the way so many times around access and inclusion and innovation? How do we take what we've done here with all of the partners around it and make this not just one, but make this a lead into more and more opportunities across this city and across this country for housing that gives people with and without disabilities the chance to live lives in community, live lives with dignity, live lives of joy, and live lives that they can in the cities that they love and with the homes that they love and the neighbors that they love. So thank you for being a part of this, and cheers to the Kelsey Civic Center. We're glad you're here with us.